Okay, well, continuing on. I know you probably blew your mind on the other video, but guys, when you truly read the Bible with pure eyes, childlike eyes, see, when all those parts are read, I'd read them through and I'd go, okay, yeah, he got that, because we know everything, and okay, yeah, I got that, but to really see, we are preconditioned, we're pre-taught, we have hearing. It's the hearing of the world, you know what I'm saying? And so when we start diving in the Bible and start reading, we already have these put in us of what that is, what that meaning is. We have man's meaning in there, and so we go in there really never with that pure mind. We go in there with what our parents taught us, what our grandmother taught us, what we heard other kids talking about, what we heard, every week sitting in church talking about. So when we get to an age where we're going to really learn ourselves, we still have those, and they taint our teaching. Okay, that's what it is. Well, I don't even know what you're talking about. I already know that one. You know what I'm saying? I know them. If this would have been coming out of my mouth, if I would have heard this coming out of anybody's mouth when I did not have hearing or sight, okay, I'd be like, oh, this one's rich. But let me tell you, this past couple of days, let me tell you, my brother came over and I'm just laying all this out on him. God's 24/7 in my life, 24/7. But we're talking about so many things. He's talking about, remember, my point here is everything comes from him. Everything comes from him. He plays everything comes from Jesus. Everything. Okay? Why I say 12:25 Elul, okay? Jesus' birthday. Now, Elul 25, okay, is the 12th month, is the 25th day of the 12th month, okay? If we're going by the fall calendar, the Jubilee calendar, okay? So it's 12:25, or it's 6:25, okay? Or it's 6:25. Now, I know a lot of people believe it's Elul, it's Tishri 1, which, that could have been his actual earth birth. There's two different counts of days. Now I totally understand that, what the Lord taught. In heaven, there's our days that we walk, okay? There's, like on earth, when you're born and you die, there's your years. You live here, right? See, heaven's different. It's a different walk, and that's what I think those years are in Genesis, okay? Because up in heaven, the numbers are different, okay? And I think this is why there's those spaces of those hundreds of years, those spaces different in there. Something changes from them going from an earthly estate, okay, to their heavenly estate, all right? They're in those, they begot that certain son that's stated, okay, and that's noted because it's notable. He wants us to note something there, right? It's something big, okay, something big, and there's 10 of them. So when I say 10, what I'm referencing to is there's 10 sons of Haman, right? There's always 10 bad guys. We got then there's the 10 kingdoms. There's always the 10, but then there's always the other too. Okay, there's another. So when I say the 10, I'm referencing 10 on both sides. Okay, I just mean it's a number that's referenced. And when I saw this counted, there was 10. Well, right there. All right. There's nothing that is not correlated. Okay, these are patterns. So when he speaks of it, the pattern of 10 is throughout the Bible. Pattern of 10, maybe good, maybe bad, maybe good, maybe bad, one side the other, one side the other, one side the other. But it's a pattern. Okay, the beginning tells you where that pattern starts. those are noted, okay? And so Noah, Enoch, asked the Lord, petitioned the Lord to spare his child, okay? Spare him. And God found favor. He found favor upon Noah. It's a little different, okay? Different. See, he walked with Enoch. Walked with him. Enoch, this is angelic, okay? And so he could go back and forth, and there's a reason. It's just not like, he was in Spain. There's a specific reason why he did. There's a reason why these men of renown were so old, and that nothing is told in between these times, okay? And it has to do with their heavenly estate and their earthly estate, okay? It truly, truly does. Two different things here, okay? But my point to this 10 is, there's your start of your patterns, okay? What the lines are in the middle, we don't know. We don't know. But I'll tell you this again. What gets me is the copper scrolls that they found. The metal right there tells you, any of the metal in the Bible, the metal always represents the angels. The iron, brass, bronze. So, okay, I got to keep on track here. There is it's both places, okay? It's both places. Now, in the last video I talked about the hands, okay, the feet and hands. And this is why in Nebuchadnezzar's dream, that man, the statue that he drew, and at the bottom, the toes are iron and clay. Iron and clay. It's mixed. Okay, it's mixed. And these are your kingdoms, though, but everybody has looked at them as earthly kingdoms. Well, yeah, I mean, when they went through all that time, when the Greek, the Roman rule and the Greek rule, well, because that one of the seven, or one of the, it held that rule during then. It was their time to rule, okay? Excuse me, it was their time to rule. But and when I say angelic, meaning we know it's spirits, you can't see them. Okay, you can't see them. And this is again why the Bible talks about on the earth and in the earth, because they're in the earth, and on the earth, above the earth, on the earth, in the earth. Totally different things. Okay, but so I'm talking to my brother. Okay, and I'm all about well. We were talking about the Dead Sea Scrolls and the scrolls and all these things that come out, right? And there's nobody to teach them. Okay, there's nobody to teach them. But my point here was, let's just say, right, you're a disciple of the Lord. You've just witnessed all of this. Just witnessed this. Glory, And he dies, and he's resurrected, right? And he goes, and they still stay together, right? Yes. Okay. And we know he comes back. He comes back, and he meets with them. He talks to them. Okay. So 40 days he's there. 40 days. Now, we know he took time with them. Okay. Think about being in that room. Everybody's there. Think of what in the world they were asking and talking to him about. What would you ask him? What would you talk to him about? What would you ask him? Because he said, I will tell you the truth. Ask me and I will tell you. And they asked him questions, okay? And they asked him heavenly questions and all of the questions they asked him. They wanted to know. It was their time. It was, I'm getting this out. I'm going to ask him. So think about every single thing that you would, if that was you in that room with him, what would you ask him? What would you want to talk about? What would you want to know? Because he told them. That is what the Dead Sea Scrolls are. The Lost Gospels, whatever you want to call them. I just put them in one glump. This is what they are. But there's nobody to teach them. Okay? And because if we can't get this, how in the world are you going to get that? Because that is the personal stuff. It's the good stuff. I mean, all of it's good. That is the, hey, really, tell me what that's about. And he told him. Okay, those were, like the Christians through these past years that the Lord's really been, has a spirit upon his children, and they share things. It's the dreams, okay? It's all, look at all these people who have these really prophetic dreams that are consistent, okay? So, it's all of those, okay? It is the messages that he gave back then. They were really not far the world, okay? They weren't far the world. They were for his friends. You know what I'm saying? They were for those who had ears to hear. It was kind of for his bride, for his, whoever was ready for him, who knew. It was his close-knit group, okay? But anybody who would have wanted to come in to hear, they absolutely could. But they knew what they saw. They had that spirit upon them. They knew. And the Lord knew that when he spoke to them, they would understand. Okay? They had that understanding. They had that. They had that in the truth shall set me free thing. Okay? They truly did. That's what those are. They are personal. Okay? There's nobody to teach them. So, in a Christian, if they don't get something, they don't understand it, they will shun it. They will back away from it. And they will discard it because they don't get it, so it can't be right, because they don't get it. So, but they fear it. And so, that anything you fear, you stay away from. And pride comes in. So much pride comes in. And so instead of saying, well, I got to start from nothing. And there's you go. It's your plumb line. Nothing. Zilch. Okay. It's your peeling of the onion. And this is why he sends us through the wilderness when he calls, and he makes us, it's through humility. It's through humility that we finally learn and have hearing and sight. It's through humility that we finally find life, that we finally find the joy, that we finally find the truth. Okay, it's through humility. But they won't do it. Okay, because then if a person doesn't understand it, I don't understand it. I didn't get it, and I'm close to God. So I don't understand it. It must not be right. Okay? Because I'm closer to God than they are. I know it. I've been studying the Word for 40 years straight every day of my life, and I don't have that. So there's no way that can be right. There's no way. I mean, who are they? That's what happens. And it's pride. Okay? And so they will condemn it. Okay? And they will push it off and push it off and push it off. And unfortunately, that is what's happened. Okay? That is exactly what's happened. It really has. And it's a shame because that, and again, I've read him. I told you in my last video how much I've read of them. Okay? But I'll tell you, even if I may not have understood, even when I've read my first ones years ago, I remember the first time reading them, I probably had to go 10 times. I was like, oh, I'm never going to get, 10 times. Now I can read it until I understand them. But now is when that memory comes back of them, and I go, wait a minute, I think I've read that before, but where? I might not have given it 2 thoughts back then, because we all think we know everything, right? But then all of a sudden now, They all come into play because they're now, and they match with the words in the Bible. Okay, but see, nobody knows where to place them. They are the holes. They are the skipped years. Okay, remember when the Bible was written, the Lord said that they were in hieroglyphics, right? And so the scribes had to write. They only had a small amount of a place to write. They had to write the most words, they had to say the most, but write the least. Okay, the least amount of words. They had to tell the biggest story they could. All right, so there's a lot of here. Just give this because it gives pretty well what we need to say, but there's this much more really to that story. Okay, and they're in those lost gospels, copper scrolls, whatever you want to call them. They're there. It's personal. So again, you think about that. It's no difference. The Lord knows who He's coming to get. Okay, and people are people. Now, you can imagine the questions we would ask Him. I can only imagine. So then, after being with Him, and then He comes back, and you've got a time now to open floor discussion. What they're asking Him, and He's telling. Well, shoot, come on. That's what those are. Okay, that's what those are. But we were. I was talking to my brother too, and I said, they are all, now that we know the four faces of that, and it's what He comes as, and everything is from Him. Okay, everything. This is why in Daniel, Nebuchadnezzar, when the four were when he was in the fire, remember he said he saw one like the Son of Man. Okay, see, that's because the Lord was there. Abraham went through fire. All of them. It's the Lord. You know what I'm saying? It's the Lord's Spirit. This is why. Everything comes from Him. Okay, and you know what? The angels, there's such a order. Okay, there's such an order, right? You might have Him, then you got the four, then you got underneath them, then underneath them, then underneath them, and it's just massive, So the numbers will switch, and like the menorah. Okay, so there's 7. Jesus is the middle, right? There's 6. Yeah, the menorah is 7, right? And then there's 3 on this side and 3 on this side. Okay, and then that middle one brings them together. And then if there's 8, is there any that have 8 on there? See, there's always those 2. This is the scapegoat. Jesus, after He's baptized, received the dove, Holy Spirit, but it was okay. He went out to the desert then. Because see, it's both. He goes out to the desert, to be tempted. But He was not subject to temptation. You know what I'm saying? He couldn't be tempted because it wasn't going to happen. He could see it and experience it, but he wasn't subject to it. Okay, so into the wilderness. There's representation of a scapegoat too. Okay, because see, Cain and Abel. One was the blood sacrifice. Okay, one got the glory, basically, and then the other is this other goat, is the one that's sent out to the wilderness with the red scarlet ribbon around him, and he's out there, and upon him he's taken upon. Okay, well, the sins. Okay, and those aren't forgiven in a sacrifice. It's a sacrifice. It's a when the priest or when the Israelites would go through their temple, whatever, and then it was time to place the sins, right? And then it was a sacrificial thing, right? And then they had that other goat, right? The scapegoat, and they would put that ribbon, and then they would send it out to the desert, right? For 40 days. I'm assuming, I think it's 40 days, but it's always patterned. But then it came back, and it would have, the ribbon would be white, and that meant God had forgiven the sins. Okay, God had forgiven the sins. This is it's the two. Okay, and this is why Jesus plays both parts. He's both scapegoats. He's both. So when I say he's the beast, he's got the 10 crowns, then 7. He's the Redeemer. He's the four faces on the cherub around the throne. He came with the staff. He's the shepherd, right? And he had that staff, but now when it comes, he's going to come back with the rod. I'll throw down the bigger beast. Do you think God let anybody else in control of this? No. Now, and can I tell you? Oh my gosh. Psalms. Go ahead and read Psalms. In there, it tells you all, when he tells you what he's going to come and do. Now I'm going to come and blah, blah, blah. I'm going to do. Of course, that's why it's the double-edged sword. The double-edged sword. The double-edged sword. Okay? Everything comes from him. Okay? Everything comes from him. It's the 7 angels. It's the 7 churches. It's the 7 angels. It's the sevenfold spirits. It's everything. Okay? And whatever role needs to be done, it comes from one of those sevenfold spirits. Okay? This is where it comes from. One of them 7. Okay? One of the 7. This is a question. I said, this is why. Didn't you ever wonder why when John went up to heaven in Revelation, and when he was watching, he was crying or whatever, that there was nobody to open the seals, right? There's nobody open the seals, and so I may have it up, and it was like, is there anyone worthy? They were like looking, is there anybody with? They just didn't know. They just didn't say, oh well, there was. So meaning there was situations. Okay, so here, and I saw the right hand. Of him who sat on the throne, a scroll written inside, and on the back sealed with 7 seals. Then I saw a strong angel proclaiming with a loud voice, "Who is worthy to open the scroll and loose its seals?" And no one in heaven, or on the earth, or under the earth, see, above it, on it, or under it, was able to open the scroll or to look at it. So I wept. So John wept because no one was found worthy, no one was found worthy to open and read the scroll or to look at it. But one of the elders said to me, "Do not weep. Behold, the Lion of the tribe of Judah, the root of David, has prevailed." He prevailed. See, he prevailed to open the scroll and to loose its 7 seals. okay, which is Revelation 5:5. That one. But what I'm saying is, it's one of the seven. But Jesus prevailed. Okay, he prevailed. He finished it. He finished it. He finished it. You understand? I always wondered why. Why they just don't? I don't understand why they're whining or weeping or of course he did it. But see, because it was from the seven. It's the roles. It's the different roles. Son of God, Son of Man. Son of God, Son of Man. This is where you get your Son of God, Son of Man. See? But then, all right, so then, this one, too, was ask and it will be given to you. Seek and you will find. Knock and it will be open to you. For everyone who asks receives, and he who seeks finds, and to him who knocks it will be open. Or what man is there among you, if his son asks for bread, will give him stone? Okay, I'm going to explain this. The bread, okay. See, bread of life, the word, right? Your breadcrumbs, your everything, your bread, you got, the word of God, all that, right? And then he says, we'll give him a stone. Okay? A stone is an angel. A stone represents, it's an angel. Okay? I'm just not getting to what stone is, but I mean, a stone sense, but stones are angels. Or and that's why you got a boulder in your way, you got whatever. They do this for your learning. They set these boulders in your path. It's all for you, which way you're going to go around it. It's for your learning, your training. Okay, and this is why he sends us out to the wilderness. The earth is the wilderness. You know what I mean? But I mean, he has to send the blacksmith into our life to hammer us. This is why we have our trials and our tests, because the stones thrown at us, okay? We're stoned with stones thrown at us. It's because they have a job to do. They have a job to do. They got to get us back there. And so there's an order here, okay? But then the next one says, or if he asks for a fish, will he give him a serpent? Okay, this tells you, okay, which side. See the fish? Ask for a fish, he will give him a serpent. Who can the water? Remember I told you what's under the water and in the water? It's one side or the other side. Okay? That's why when you go fishing, you're going to fish. It's the you're pulling them out of the water and you're going to put them in the fire. Okay? You're going to put them in the fire. Because the serpent controls the water, or the left hand. Okay, not the right. The right hand is heavenly. The left hand is earthly. Okay, so if you then bring evil, know how to give good gifts to your children. If you then, being evil, know how to give good gifts to your children, how much more will your Father who is in heaven give good gifts to those who ask? Did you ever really read that? What man is there among you, if his son asks for bread, will give him a stone? Or if he asks for fish, will give him a serpent? If you then, being evil, know how to give good gifts to your children, how much more will your Father who is in heaven give good things to those who ask him. And you know what? That's Matthew 7:7 to 12. Okay, that's a month. 7, that's 7th month, and seventh day to the 12th day. That's how chapters and verses are. Okay, so Matthew 7:7, it's a 7-month, and it's from the 7th to the 12th day. That's what that is. Okay, so it is parable. Now you understand the parable of the prodigal son. Okay, who's God's prodigal son? Who was he? He's going to take them both back in. I mean, of course we know he's going to take the one, but I mean, he's going to bring the prodigal son back. He's going to forgive him. I'll have roles to play. I'll have roles. That's just the way it is. So when you know this, when you know who's in charge of everything, I'm saying things happen because they happen. Because everything's set in motion. And once it goes, it's got to play out. So when God says, fear is not from me, why would you fear anything but me? Truly understand what that means. He's in control of everything. Both. So why would you fear anything but him? Ever. And why knowing what he's shown us, you know how the end's going to come. You know why we've already won. And he said this over and over to us. We've already won. I mean, you know, the devil's already lost, and he knows it, but he thinks he's going to make a comeback, but he's not, because he's already lost. It's already done, but it's got to play out. It's because it's got to be finished. God is precise, and he spoke it, and it's got to be finished. Okay? It's got to be finished. That's why he says, you know who wins? God is in control of everything. And this truly is about the Father and the Son and the Spirit and the Holy Spirit. Okay? All three play in this big time. God has just, oh my God, he's so incredible. I don't want to start crying again because I can't stand. I'll go, oh Lord, here it comes again. I'm not going to cry, but I'm going to cry because I cannot. To allow us to know this. To allow us to know this. Again, see, this is why he didn't give this stuff to the theologians. This is exactly why he didn't do it. You had to come with childlike, you know what I'm saying? As an infant, because we're all children, we're all infants when we get to heaven. Learn the steps again. Again, it's the days of your walk. Okay? It's the days of your walk. What a gift. That's all I say all day long. What a gift. What a gift. What a gift. Lord, nobody's going to believe this. Lord, nobody's going to believe this. How am I going to even put this out here, Lord? Just nobody's going to believe this. Nobody is going to believe this, Lord, so I don't even know what to say. And I'll, right when I start on something, and I see and I see it, and it hits me, I go, oh, I got to stop. I can't take it. I got to stop. And I get up, and I walk in the kitchen, right, and I get a cup of coffee or something. I go, well, Lord, you know I can't stop, because I got to come back, because, you know, I'm bawling my eyes out. What a gift. You don't have to believe me. But you know what? If you have found me, and you've been with me, you've seen this. But if you're here, it's the Lord who sent you. And I've said this from the very beginning. My videos aren't for everybody. They're for specific people. You know who you are. Okay, let me ask you this. You've watched my screw-ups, my everything. But they've always been there. I just didn't know what he was showing, right? Because my humanness, my man, you know, you get excited. You don't know when he just unveils all this to you, right? So, but if he would have given these wonderful secrets, okay, of whatever, discernment, It's what I call discernment. It's just incredible gift of discernment. Just it's not. I mean, truly, all the Lord, all of it, Lord, all of it, all of it, all of it. It's way over my pay grade. I mean, come on, we're all smart, but we're not this smart. There's no way, none. Okay. But if he would have given this to the big guys, how many of them do you think would have come on television? How many of you think would have came on the whatever and said, "Hey, I was wrong, guys. I was wrong. Everything I was wrong. This is gonna." How many think would do that? I don't think a lot of them. I don't know if any of them would. I'm sure there are some, but they wouldn't. They would have. They wouldn't have just came out. Do what you want with it, but it just wouldn't have come out and said, hey, we've been wrong. Because it trickles down their line, it affects too many people. They wouldn't have done it. That's why he does it just our simple people. Right? But he again takes everything from us. So you have to fully concentrate on him. Okay? Spanks us hard, but he knows it's all about our prayers. You know this. And again, God knows who we are. He knows who you are. He knows I am. He knows who we all are. It all goes back to the beginning, okay? Because it's generational. I'm telling you, it's all he knows. He knows where we belong, where we come from. And so it gives every order. We know this from every order of birth, everything, you know, all of it matters. Here you are. That's the way it is. But it's our prayers. And then he knows, I mean, he guides our prayers too. You know, he does. He guides our prayers. But it's when we truly run and search for the heart of God, and you stay on that, and when he knows that you're in it to win it, okay, you're serious, and he sees the world, you know, being discarded from your life, and that your vision becomes more narrow, that your ears are open and your eyes are open, and then your prayers are, you know, and it really is, it's about your prayers. But when he does, it brings him such joy. You know, look at my son, look at my daughter. Again, when he sees you walking that path, okay, when he sees you every day chasing him, to know him, okay, instead of turning, okay, and cursing him, all right, and walking away and turning your back to him and walking that way. But instead, you got to know. And you say, okay, Lord, okay, I say when, no, and then, but you stick to it and you go, because that's when totally the dwelling starts and that change starts, okay, and you can't stand to be away from him, and because you see that you know it's us, you know, so you know the change, and you see what he's showing you, and you just know there's no way in the world that, no, ever, okay, but you're back again the next day, okay, and your days get longer, right, and your things get longer in your time, and then you totally, I would rather be with him 24/7 than anything else. I never can wait. I just can't wait to I'm like, oh, I gotta get my, you know, I can't wait because of what he's showing. But again, it's what you're willing to give up. What is important to you? What are you willing to give up? You know, what are you willing to miss? I'm willing to miss all those, whatever, you know, even family functions. I'm like, okay, I love you, but bye, you know. I'm talking my siblings and stuff. Pool parties or whatever. No, I don't even, you know, see the whites of my eyes, but no, I'd rather be with the Lord. They don't even understand that. You know, I have more happiness, more joy. How can you not? How can you not? And then, He truly does. He blesses your heart. He just blesses your heart. And I think He gets just as excited as these days, start to throw those breadcrumbs to you to see if you're going to find Him. It's like, oh, she found it. Yeah, there you go. And that's with everybody. It's with everybody. And He gives you more because He's just as tickled too. He's just as tickled too. Of course, the screw ups, and I'll say, Lord, I don't even know what, Lord. Please, could you just I'm so tired of digging. It's digging for the pearl. It's digging for the pearl. We're all pearls, right? And it's digging. It's digging through the darkness. It's digging through it's digging. It's every day. It's digging deeper, digging deeper, digging deeper, digging deeper to find that pearl. And it's when you keep looking for your pearl that you become the pearl. Okay? And you know what the pearl is? It's your heavenly place. It's back to your heavenly station. That's what the pearl is. Okay? That's what the pearl is. You find your pearl. What are the gates made of? Big pearl. What's your pearl? Pearl is you. Pearl is you. Pearl is me. Pearl is us. And it's when we find that pearl, we are the pearl. And it's what we are in heaven. Okay? It is our station. And we find that pearl on that path. So, that's what it is. Incredible. Absolutely incredible. But again, it's understanding what garments are. Garments are clothes. I mean, they were fighting over his cape. I've seen the movie. I know I saw those guards fighting over his cape on the movie. They were fighting over his coat, his garments. That's what they were doing. His garments were him. His garments are the sevenfold spirits. Okay? His garments is what you're covered with. It's what comes. It's you. It's what's in. You know what I'm saying? They were casting lots. Okay? But really, the garments is the outer. It's you. And so with him, that really means something when they want to split his garments. Okay? Research bones. Who knew that? I think I would. I'm not going to be a doctor. I don't even know how many bones are in my hand. I don't even know how many bones. It's just like stuff that I just really don't. It's like, I don't really need to know. Bones, it's just not something that interests me. I really don't. I don't care how many bones I have. It's something I'm going to learn, but what am I going to do with it? I'm all about the bones now. I mean, it was just something fluky thing that you find because he leads you there. Okay? He leads you there. Let me tell you this. My son Trey, which means 3, right? My son Trey that died. And it was the day he died. Again, I thought I knew the Lord, but here in my back pocket, I thought, He died 1/7/05, January 7th, 05. Now, his birthday was August 3rd, 1988. 8388. 8388. Totally God's numbers. When he died, that's the first thing somebody said to me. Oh, that's God's numbers. I mean, I knew, but somebody told me that to comfort me, and I knew it, but didn't understand. Didn't. No. You know what I'm saying? People can tell you things, but no.
Somebody told me that's what it was. You accept it because you kind of know 7 and 1, but to really learn what those numbers are and really what they stand for and really they are God's numbers, it's a big difference. So, big difference. Okay? Now, today, just because, I don't know why. Because I'm on my number thing, and I hate numbers, hate calendars. That is the ironic thing of this whole thing. I type in the day he died. I want to know how many days from the day he died, and I put in to August 31st. Okay? Do you know how many days there were? 3,888 days. I think that's by accident. Everything's divine. 3,000. I've been, as of August 31st, and there was a reason why I put August 31st, 3,888. His birthday is 8/3/88. Okay? So then when I went to the Strongs, okay, in the Bible helped me Strongs and see what that is, brought me tears. Absolutely brought me tears. So then I decided, my son Taylor, well, and this goes back, and it just so happened that all these things that I put in, for all 3 of my children, they were all on the same thing. They were similar. They were from the same, they were all unbelievable. But my son Trey's, I put mine in. Let me tell you what, gosh, I should have kept this up, shouldn't I? Let me tell you what mine said, okay? Not that I'm even, and let me tell you this, before this, I was like, well, I don't even care about that strong thing. I don't care. What does that mean? That's just something else that's going to stick in my head. I don't really care what any of that means, okay? Mine is 10/18. My birthday is 10/18. And it means to, it's properly, it's act as an umpire. Okay, and I've always been the peacekeeper. I told you that. Always been the peacekeeper, right? It's arbitrate. It's figuratively the peace, wholeness from Christ that he uses. The peace, wholeness from Christ that he uses to assure or confirm a believer they are living in his preferred will. The peace of God rule in you. It's the peace of Christ ruling your hearts. It is the arbitrator, the umpire, to make a righteous, the truth, to be fair, it's to make the call in a conflict between contending forces. All right, but it was it means also to direct and determine, but where's the one? There was another one where it meant to speak and to assure
Wait a minute, I'm pulling it up. This one made me cry too. I've never in a million years pulled this up, ever. I know people do that and they'll go, well, the Strongs, okay, that's number blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh, who's got time to do that? I don't even know what that is. I never even heard of that. A couple of years ago, right? I know what it is now, but I mean, it's things that I just like, that's just one more thing I have to learn. I really don't want to learn that. I don't even know what, But it's the 1018. It's the Greek and Hebrew definitions. It's BRABEUO, Strong's 1018. I don't know what that is, but see, I don't know what that is. Means to govern, figuratively, it's prevail. Okay, oh, but it's one. It means to like console. Okay, it means to speak like the goodness of God. You know what I'm saying? Exactly like explaining. It's to give ease to the hearts. You know what I mean? It's exactly what I'm doing. Okay, it's about sharing the let the peace of God rule in your hearts. Okay, it is absolutely crazy. I've never ever done that in my life. It explains exactly what He has totally, completely had me do. So it is. Oh, here it is. I found it. Well, no, I didn't. I have to have that one translated because I cannot read that. But when I pulled up my sons again, and this was because I was seeing the number of days, and just seeing what that was, and I was seeing the number of days that I'd really been without Him. But when that came up, and I knew the time we're coming into, okay, and 3,888 days. What are the odds of that? So it says to it's to be a prize or an umpire, but decide, determine, to help direct. Okay, but I can't even find it now what I'm doing, but it really just meant, and it was speaking, like speaking like softly, like for the heart of God. I mean, every single thing that He's having me do. And when I tell you, I have absolutely no spite in my heart, no, nothing. If you don't understand it, I understand that, because God has to be the one to pull that, and there's ones that are out there, they can't help it. They leave nasty things. Let them go. Let them go. You just pray for them, ask God to do it. But you're always going to have them. And that's not for them. The Lord has to deal with them. But for you, those, this isn't some rabbit hole thing. Okay? It's not. I don't know exact. Okay? But I know what He's showing. And it so much bigger. So much bigger. But I know that He's going to be so merciful. Okay? And so, again, all these things of what's going to happen and getting everybody panicky, you know what? I'm stand in Him. What can I know He's in control of everything. Well, or am I Him? I'm going to stand by Him, though, because I know He's got me. I know He totally has me. So, just know this time is our most joyous time. It truly is. And whatever He's allowing for good. But I've come to understand too. Remember a couple videos ago, and I said, and that was the first time I was like, I don't know. I'm thinking about the moon turning to darkness, and the sun turning to darkness, the moon turning to blood. Because see, now I totally get, because the Lord He'll have to throw that beast down. You know what I mean? But the moon, who kind of, is the sibling that, why me? What about me? And it has the rule of the other one. will turns to blood. Blood cleanses. Blood cleanses. Blood, gives that covering. Okay? Gives that covering. But what about the people that's thrown in the abyss? Because the Bible says they're going to be thrown in the abyss. It's fire. It's the evil that is thrown in the abyss. Okay? So someone who's thrown in the fire burns. The fire cleanses. The fire burns. That, what's in them, on them, whatever this is how he's going to cleanse. So let's say that bad side, or that side that has it, or whatever side, here's here and here. Then there's that evil, okay, which I think is man now. Okay, I really do. I think man corrupted the angels. Okay, so there's three groups. Okay, three groups. The angelic, which have their own little spats and battles, right? That's what I'm saying. You have the angels of light and the angels of dark, but then you got that evil, that darkness that was already on the world, right? Okay. Well, that is what affects. That darkness is what goes over everybody. You know what I'm saying? That's that darkness that does it. That darkness, that sin, that evil is going to get thrown in that abyss for eternity, right? It's going to be forever and ever. But the people, his creation, because that's what it is, his creation, get thrown in there, but fire is good. Fire refines. Fire refines. Okay? And this is how. So whoever gets thrown in the fire, though, it refines them. Okay? And so that whatever's on them will be eternal, but he's going to redeem them out of that fire. I truly, truly believe that. Absolutely, truly believe it. And again, all through the Bible, he tells you what he's going to do. Even Genesis, he tells you. He's going to forgive and bring and redeem. Totally tells you that. I don't know about all the other stuff, that reptilian and all that kind of stuff. It goes in along with that. All that goes in there. I don't let myself. I absolutely believe it. You can see the eyes of it. And that's that whatever goes on there. I don't know. But I know he's going to take care of it. And yeah, and after a while, the things come out of there, the demons, the spirits. Yeah, that's all in those. Okay, it's all in that. It's all in that. But I don't have the answers to that. It's there, big time. I'm talking about understanding the word of the Lord. I'm talking about understanding this time that we're coming, so you don't stand in fear. Okay? And I can't get into Cain right now, but maybe tomorrow I'll do a video of Cain, okay? And all that stuff, okay? But don't stand in that tribulation fear, okay? Because it's a time. That's why he's given this time to get everybody ready, okay? From where it stopped in April, okay? And so the Omer Count and the times of Pentecost, okay, which is normally, right, seven weeks, it's 49 days, but it stopped, and he gave it this long, okay, this long, right, to do it, because it's and then the start, it's that sixth full moon. Again, this is the sixth full moon. Okay, he gave us every sign in the world to tell us when the start time was of everything, all of it, everything right in front of us. There's a blood red moon, two full moons in July. Right. Night of July 2nd, 3rd. What is that? Okay, so I say it was July 3rd, okay? Paper says it was 2nd, but it was on 3rd when I saw it. Okay, then there was one on July 28th. That was the second full moon for the month, right? Or 28th, 29th. 28th, 29th it was on. Okay, think about that. Remember I told you July was the month of the Gentile. I mean, it was the month, that middle month, which represents both. It was your midpoint. You know what I'm saying? July is both. It mirrors January. Okay, it mirrors January. But it's the seventh month, just as Nisan is the seventh month, July is the seventh month, and September is the seventh month. Okay? And they're also all first month. Okay? But you see, July 2nd and 3rd, he was giving us, you know what he was doing? He was saying, hey, I'm going to give you a big old clue right here. Okay? Big old clue. They were not scheduled blood moons, right? But just somebody say it was from the wildfire and all these earthly things made them like that. Bottom line, there were big old blood red moons, okay? However they got there, that's what they were. July 2nd, 3rd is a mirror of April 3rd, okay? And that was a full moon, that April 2nd, 3rd, right? So July is really, he's telling you, okay, I'm giving you a starting point, okay? That's reflecting Nisan, April, first, 7th month, April 3rd, okay? Now, I'm going to tell you this, July 28th, 29th, right? That one, that full moon, that's for September 28th. That's that last blood full moon, right? He gave us a big old clue. Start, finish. Big old clue. That's what that was. There's counting dates in there too, but I mean, basically that was like, I'm just going to give this to you right here, okay? I'm just going to give it to you. Okay, here he is. Boom, boom. And that's what those were. You know, we're dealing with a time of creation now, okay? Tishri 1, September 14th, that was first day. That's the sixth day. That's the sixth day, meaning that's the day man was created, okay? That's the day man was created. So, Nisan Nisan 1 was when God made the world, okay? Made the world, right? Made the world. Tishri, getting to then, Elul 25 though is when he made creation. Started the world with the first days. That's when the first days that all that started. So I don't even know if I finished this a while ago. Jesus on Elul 25 is 12:25. Well, it's when God thought of everything. So it's when the word was spoken. It's when the word was made. So it's when Jesus was created. It's 12:25. It's Elul 25 is when he was created. So it's 12:25 is Christmas with Jesus. Okay? Because that was the day that creation. I'm not saying man. I'm saying God started creating. Okay? So what does it say? What's the word? Is the word right there. And that's why September 9th is at 12:25. Okay? Because that is when Jesus, who's the Word of God, was created. So he was born, was created. So is his birthday. So then Tishri 1, which is September 14th, was the day man was made. Okay? So because a lot of people think that Jesus was born Tishri 1. It's got to be in that fall thing. So yeah, I mean, he actually, his earthly body, his earthly birth could have been then, but I don't know, but if he died, okay, Nisan 14, 15, okay, then he was born, because that's 114, 115, it's 714, 715, and it mimics September, Tishri, he was then, okay, because it's going to be the same. It's going to be the same. So then that would be September 14th, or 15th, his day of birth on the earth. See, everything is a pattern. Why do we never know? Everything is a pattern. It's right out there for us. God is, here it is, guys, right here. I don't know what you think. I'm just laying everything right out. Again, scripture, it's months and days.
in the verses. So, but that's what, excuse me, that's what Elul 25 is. It's why September 9th is important. Okay? So, but September 23rd, it's a Yom Kippur. Do you know what that is? Excuse me, that's a day in his courts. Day in his courts. What does that mean? So, again, I hope you got it. Guys, I'm sorry these videos are so long, but I've got so much more. You just see me, I'm walking around. That's the calmest I've been, okay? But, it's so you just be in peace and joy. I can't tell you don't worry, please. When we have an enemy, big enemy, right? And the enemy is putting all of that fear in there. Again, so our eyes are on him and not the Lord. So the Lord gives us peace. He takes that burden and can give it to him. If you're getting anxious about this time, okay, about what's going on, Lord, take it. Take this from me. Too much. Take this from me. Lord, you know I don't want to be like this. Pray. Constantly pray. I just understand so much now, okay? I understand so much, you know, when marriages, and this is why it's so important to marry within who you're yoked with. Because if each of us are from one or the other of the angelic sides, okay, sons of light, sons of darkness, though, I mean, through the air, it's all mingled, right? You don't know. But this is why you have your opposites. Well, opposites attract. That's why you have your opposites. Okay? And this is why you ever see families and their children are just because they've married. They have two parents who are equally yoked. One, there's no light and dark. You know what I'm saying? There's no mixture of the tribe, of the inter tribal marriages. Okay? There's none. They're on the same side. Okay, they're from the same group. They're on the same side. They're on the same hand. You don't have a left hand mixed with a right hand. You got two right hands. You know, and then you got those that are two left hands. Right. And you're like, oh, and every generation, their kids and their grandma. I mean, everything is on that same thing. They just the addictions and we call it generational curses because it is generational curses. Okay, because they married two, and that's why it's so important to be aware of who you marry, because then you have children, and your children truly are, you're like, well, I don't know, he's good today, but tomorrow he could be bad. This is why. You wonder why aren't my? I mean, I don't even understand that because we married outside of our. We did that. We had a intertribal marriage. Okay, truly we did. That's what it is. They're bipolar. I mean, legitimately. And so when he says you'll never make C, you won't, because he has to do it. He has to do it. And now I understand. Something he says. Certain demons, you can't get rid of them with praying and fasting. Okay, you can't get rid of them even with praying and fasting. I mean, it takes more because it takes prayer. It takes prayer for that change. It takes prayer, especially if you have somebody that is from that whole lineage line, and for them to see the light and to change and to be brought where you've been trying to get them, and you're praying. But he says those don't come out with prayer and fasting. Meaning, it's God has to do it. It's by His grace and forgiveness and mercy that's done. But you continue to pray. You petition the throne. Petition the throne. Intercede for them. Intercede. Because He's the one who has to change it. He's the one who has to change them. He has to change their garments. Okay? He has to do it.
He has to do it. And if they're thrown through the fire, it's okay, because he's going to redeem them out of that fire. He's got to strip them down. He's got to peel them. He's got to get that off, and he's going to get it. And see, the veil, this is why, see, that veil covered it. When Adam and Eve in the garden, when that veil, once they did that, that veil went over their eyes. See, they could no longer see where they were from. Once they sinned, that veil, he had to close that veil. They no longer could see their heavenly home, heaven. Okay, they couldn't, because God veiled it, right? He veiled it, and he only let them see the earth. So this is why things are veiled. So we can't see that other realm. We can't see the angels on both sides. We can't see any of that. It's veiled. So the importance of when the veil rips, and when we kept saying we're going to see everything when that veil rips, the demonic, all of it, he's going to remove it. And that's when you're going to know who you are. So when he removes that veil, you'll remember the Wailing Wall. Talking about the Wailing Wall falling, right? That's their veil. That's their wall of sin, and that's their veil. And as long as that wall is standing, they won't see, because it's a division. The Wailing Wall divides the brothers. Okay? It is the division. It is the division of Israel and Judah. It is division of Ishmael, Isaac. It is the division that wall is. It keeps people in, it keeps people out. Okay? Keeps people blind and deaf. It keeps people envious and hateful. Okay? Jealous and envy. And that's what that does. So, when that earthquake comes, God will, when he does that shaking, he's going to knock down that Wailing Wall. And once that Wailing Wall comes down, all the veil will be removed. Then they will see. They will have no more scales. They will know the truth. And then they will go down on their knees, bend their knee, and confess with their mouth. Okay? It's the veil. Okay? No, I'm leaving something out. I know these videos are long, but I'm telling you guys, they're the truth. You know? Don't. So, it's a lot. It's a lot. And you know, I don't, please don't ask me about the reptile and all that stuff. I don't know. I mean, it's in there somewhere, but I don't have my eyes on that, because that's not my battle. It's not my battle. That's some Lord take care of. You know, truly will take care of. But so much now makes so much sense. So much sense. So, prayer, prayer, and prayer. Petition the Lord. Go in front of him. But there's things that he's going to have to do. You have to give. When you know what, you just got to stand and trust that he's going to do it. You know the end. You know the end. You know how this is going to end. So you stand in that promise. You stand in that love, and you stand in that joy. And you pray, but please, I know people are so worried about whatever. When they're thrown in the fire, okay? That abyss, it's not what we think. I mean, it's an abyss, yeah, it's fire, but it's to burn the dross. It's to burn. He has to refine them. Didn't go through it before. But now that we understand why and what it is, okay? Now you understand. Now you understand what it is. He's got this. He's got it. When I say he's got it, I mean he's got it. So, I don't know. Good stuff. I love you guys. Please watch, because, again, you know, remember this. The Lord's only going to do glorifies him. Okay? You're going to show mercy and compassion. He's not doing it the way the enemy is spreading it out. Okay? And everybody's getting in that whatever. Please sleep good. Sleep light. With your light head. Don't be heavy. Worrying. Don't. He's got it. Truly got it. So, we have creation time, which is on Enoch. Okay, we have the Hebrew time, which is, current, but it's patterns, right? Patterns. And then we have ours. So, I don't know when. I know this time that we're in right now is patterns of March, of Adar, of February, of March, of April. Okay, coming into May and June and July. All right. So in these next things, but I don't know. I don't know if it'll be 10 days behind for Enoch's calendar. You know what I'm saying? God knows this, but we don't know. But, so, again, is his April 29th today, or is it 10 days from now? Always keep that in mind. Don't ever let those go, because it's here. The full moon. It was the full moon. Full moons. That's what it was. No, I forgot tons and tons of stuff, and I'm going to try to do them, but I love you guys. Bo just went down and spent the night with little girl, house over. It's your little friend. Spend the night. So, maybe I'll do some more. But one more thing I have to tell you. When I looked up Taylor's, what I wanted to look up on Taylor on the Strongs, the biblical thing of Strongs, which again, I don't know. I don't care about that stuff. Never even. But it said urgent repentance. It means his numbers meant urgently repent. Urgent repentance. Much more than that one. Okay. Hope you understand your children more after this. I sure do. But you know what? I knew that. I knew that side was different. I'd always say it's that bad seed on that side. I always have said that. That's their dad's bad seed, not ours bad seed. That's their dad's bad seed. And so, but that's why my kids have had that struggle. But I've stayed strong in that, and to bring that goodness, bring that good side, okay, bring that light side to them, that light side. I gotta do whatever I gotta do and say, and you want to hear? I'm gonna tell you what this is. I have to get to them in certain ways. You can't talk to my daughter like this because I can't take them, I can't hear it, but like that. But I'll sometimes I'll pretend that I'm on the phone talking to somebody like outside of her house, but I know that she can hear me inside. And I'll pretend, I'll go, well, it's a big day, and it's going to happen, blah, 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 because I want her to, okay? But I'm really not talking to anybody, okay? But I can't speak to her about it, so I'll go on the front porch and pretend I'm talking to somebody, because I know she can hear every word I'm saying. That's what I do. So, I love you guys, okay? Again, 29th. The clock start ticking. It's the skipping of the stones in the 7th pool. Skip to the 6th, down in the 7th. Here we are between the 6th and the 7th. So, I love you guys. See you soon. All welcome to my house when we get home. Mwah!